Who Will Vouch for You by Short Story 1. I am a police officer, and last week a dead body was found in some park. We already knew who this person was, as he was notorious for coming in and out of prison. He was a drug dealer and he made some big money out of selling drugs, and he also took some of his own drugs as well. It was only a matter of time someone ended up killing him. I had 3 people in mind who had a possible connection with the murder victim, and I needed to see what they were up to on the night when the deceased was murdered. Michael was the murder victim's name. Roger Mulhorn was the first man I had questioned, and I knew where he lived, and he used to work alongside the deceased selling drugs during the 90s. I asked him where he was during the murder of Michael, and Roger told me he was staying in some large derelict mansion. The mansion that he told me about was now abandoned and a home for junkies to shoot up their drugs. Roger told me that something that lives inside the mansion will vouch for him. He was always staying there on the night Michael was murdered. When I went inside the mansion, it was completely empty, and when I had taken my first steps inside the mansion, a male ghost appeared in front of me and said, "Roger was here on the night Michael was murdered. He was laughing at me and mocking me as he was the one who had murdered me. He enjoys mocking me on a weekly basis." And I was completely frozen at that moment, and I just had to get out of there. The second suspect was a man called Brian Philly, and he worked with Michael during the early 2000s. He lives in some shabby council estate flat now. I questioned him, and all he told me was that he was in some pub during the night Michael was murdered. But by my local knowledge, the pub was now closed permanently for many years now. And Brian told me that Melissa will vouch for him inside the pub. When I entered the now permanently closed pub, the front door was completely left open. Everything was broken and dusty. Melissa came out of the pile of wood, and huge chunks of meat had been taken out of her body. She should be dead, but she was essentially a zombie.
Brian was here on the night Michael died. Brian enjoys beating me.
The third suspect was a man named Peter Fuller, and he worked with Michael during the late 2010s. He told me that the people he keeps down in his cellar that he had murdered will vouch for him. The dead people down Peter's cellar all have vouched for Peter that he was at home during the murder of Michael. Some of them turned into ghosts. I am at a loss. Well folks, if you like the stories, leave a like and a comment. If you want to hear more stories, go ahead and subscribe. And I see y'all on the wasteland.